soy plumpin, mystery meat, and oh, so many types of sodium. Before you hit up that festival stand or set up the grill in your backyard, you should know what goes into your beloved sausages. It's a fact that there are some brands out there that feature pork hearts as part of their concoction of goods and sausage. In case you think the company that features this somewhat distinct ingredient in their sausages is some weird off-brand, think again. Bar S Classic Smoked Sausage can be found in grocery retailers and is a fairly popular brand to boot. Apparently, pig heart is one type of pork meat that can be readily used to make sausage, although it isn't always deemed best practice. In actuality, many suggest pork shoulder as the best meat for making sausages, and we agree. Take it for what it's worth, but some brands like Bar S choose to use pork heart in their sausage mixes. Thankfully, we haven't seen many other brands disclose their use of pork hearts on the label. So, at least for that, you can be thankful. Different sausage brands will use different types of meat to make their sausages. You'll often see brands generalize the type of meat they use under the general guise of pork. Still, there are plenty of brands out there that not only offer pork in their sausages, but also a hodgepodge of other meat types that you might not expect. Meat types we've found packed in with pork can include mechanically separated chicken as well as beef. Of course, you'll also find sausages branded as containing one meat or another, such as turkey, beef, or chicken sausages. In these cases, you will generally get exclusively one type of meat. However, this may not always be true. Also, it's important to understand that some sausage products may still feature a beef casing despite being labeled as turkey. So if those nuances make a difference to you, be sure to take note. Potassium chloride is used as an additive in many foods, with certain sausage brands like Bar S and Premio being no different. Potassium chloride is basically salt that's been collected from the sea or ground. It isn't the same as table salt, which is often labeled as sodium chloride, but can help lower the sodium content in many foods.
Just a little sodium chloride.
Actually, dude, it's salt.
That's what I said, sodium chloride.
Dude, that would be salt.
Since Americans tend to have too much sodium in their diet already, potassium chloride can act as a healthy replacement, and as such, is used by some sausage manufacturers in lieu of actual salt. Thus far, there doesn't seem to be a reason to avoid this additive. But with that said, if you're an individual that deals with high levels of potassium in your system, then the consumption of potassium chloride isn't recommended. Alongside the use of potassium chloride in sausages comes the addition of plain old salt. Salt can be used for preservation purposes, but as we all know, it's an integral part of enhancing flavor in a juicy and toothsome piece of sausage meat. And though the use of potassium chloride is designed to reduce the amount of sodium in a sausage, the addition of regular salt is usually also present, making for sausage that may still be in the dangerous range as far as sodium consumption is concerned, especially when consumed on a frequent and regular basis. For example, Jimmy Dean Hot Sausage is a delicious raw breakfast sausage brand that features only salt in its ingredients. Its sodium content is 395 milligrams, but that's only for a 2-ounce serving. How big or small you make your patties, along with how many you eat, will determine how much sodium you actually get. And because the recommended daily dose of salt intake is only 2,300 milligrams a day, you can see how multiple sausage patties could really add up.
Hot, hearty, delicious. That's what country cooking has always been about.
All in all, salt is a common and non-threatening ingredient that is often enjoyed in delicious cuts of pork. But for health's sake, it's always recommended to limit your salt consumption due to possible negative effects, such as heart disease and high blood pressure. You'll usually find seasonings on almost any sausage ingredient label, especially from the ones that are cut into links to those sold as ropes. Seasonings are what give sausages their own unique flavor. However, they can differ greatly depending on the brand and type of sausage you buy. As we've studied various sausage types, we've noticed that some sausages can be quite forthright with the seasonings they use, while others tend to be a bit more vague. Some brands choose to use ambiguous terms like seasonings or flavorings, without really breaking down the delicious details that might clue us into exactly what they use to make the sausage taste so good. You can find some brands that get really specific, like the maple syrup found in Johnsonville, Vermont maple syrup sausage links, or the paprika, onion powder, and dehydrated garlic found in some Johnsonville's andouille chicken sausage. MSG is controversial to say the least, though according to the FDA, findings indicate that MSG has little to no lasting effects on individuals not sensitive to it.
But I'm allergic to MSG.
With that said, MSG, also known as monosodium glutamate, plays a very important role in sausages no matter what current scientific findings have to say about it. Though sausages are already known for their uniquely savory flavor, the addition of MSG works to amplify that flavor. This powdery white substance adds a wonderful umami flavor to the sausage. And as such, some of the most tasty and flavorful sausages often contain this yummy yet hotly debated additive. Some brands like Johnsonville have made efforts to eliminate MSG from at least some of their sausages, while others like Hillshire Farm, Purnell's, and Jimmy Dean still sneak a bit of it in for flavor's sake. Sodium phosphate is an additive you'll often see in cuts of sausage pork, and it serves a variety of purposes. Sodium phosphate in sausages often works to cure meat, while also allowing it to retain its moisture. Additionally, it can also balance the pH in food to help its flavor stay tasty, and simultaneously extend the amount of time it stays fresh. Apart from its preserving qualities, it is also possible that eating too much sodium phosphate can cause issues. According to Healthline, these issues can vary but can be linked to health problems ranging from kidney disease to heart disease. Thus, as with most additives, you'll want to limit your consumption of sausages and other foods containing sodium phosphate to lower your risks for complications down the road. Sausage brands feature dextrose in certain types of sausages they sell because it can offer a pleasantly sweet and tangy flavor, while aiding in the fermenting process. It is often much sweeter than regular sugar, and often used in prepackaged, cured, and highly processed foods. Since dextrose is so similar in its makeup to glucose in the human body, it can sharply increase blood sugar levels when consumed. As a result, according to WebMD, you may expect an increase in the risk for obesity, diabetes, liver disease, and more over time. Despite these facts, dextrose proves useful for its flavoring and properties that help it assist in the overall fermentation process for different sausage types. Yep, this is another sodium-style additive that you'll often find in your favorite sausages. We've found sodium diacetate, mainly in smoked sausage varieties, including Johnsonville, Eckrich, Bar S, and Clement brands. Its purpose seems to be to inhibit mold and bacteria development within the meat. Sodium diacetate will feature a distinct vinegary taste, primarily due to the fact that it is one of the main ingredients in vinegar itself. There isn't much we could dig up in regard to any particularly scary or harrowing effects this one might have on your health. Its overall role seems to be to simply prevent your food from acquiring germs in its preserved state while also adding a bit of flavoring to the mix. Soy protein is often used as a filler in sausages. It can make sausages appear more plump and improve the overall texture of the meat, while helping lower the fat content in certain sausage types. Soy protein can be found in a variety of processed meats, and yes, your sausage is one of them. Though not every sausage you find will contain this filler, some will. Your typical roll-style breakfast sausage isn't likely to feature this ingredient, but brands that sell pre-cooked sausages just might. So far, we've found Hillshire Farm to use soy protein concentrate the most, though we're sure you'll find other brands that add this component to their ingredients as well. While most soy protein is fine for your health, know that it is also considered genetically modified, and that many people fear it may increase the risk of breast cancer and other complications, despite recent findings from Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health that seems to challenge this belief.
Not only is soy safe, it literally drops breast cancer rates by 60% for soy consumers.
When it comes to corn syrup and sausages, the name of the game seems to add a bit of sweetness and also to improve moisture retention within the meat. While you may think of corn syrup as similar to high fructose corn syrup, the truth is that corn syrup tastes less sweet. As a result, the addition of corn syrup is perfect for foods like sausage that may benefit from just a hint of sweetness, without coming off as overwhelmingly sugary on the taste buds. You can expect to find it in some of the most popular sausage brands, including Jimmy Dean, Hillshire Farm, and Bar S. Still, it's important to check the label if the use of corn syrup bothers you, since the ingredients added can vary even within the same brand. Sodium nitrate, along with sodium nitrite, are commonly found in processed meats, including deli meat, bacon, and sausage. While these additives are often replaced with celery powder or celery extract in natural or uncured varieties, your typical sausage is very likely to contain nitrates and nitrites, particularly if they are of the smoked sausage or pre-cooked variety. Nitrates and nitrites are often added to foods to preserve them. As reported by The Guardian, since these compounds have been linked to cancer, it is recommended that cured meat enthusiasts limit their intake of such foods. Still, nitrates and nitrites play the important role of adding that lovely pink hue to pre-cooked and cured meat, along with the added benefit of extending its shelf life. So, what's the best way to avoid them? Try purchasing your sausages in roll form instead. Sodium erythorbate is found in many cured sausage types. This type of additive is known for adding a pink or red coloring to meats that remains even after the meat has been sliced. In addition, sodium erythorbate can speed up the curing process, which saves time for the manufacturer. While we wouldn't promote sodium erythorbate as good for your health, we haven't seen many links to it having a harmful outcome either. But as always, there are some people out there who might be sensitive to the additive. According to Healthfully, those sensitive may experience some ailments after consuming sausages with sodium erythorbate in them, including fatigue, skin flushing, and headaches. Nevertheless, this isn't a common occurrence, and therefore we aren't overly concerned about spotting this ingredient in our sausages. Modified food starch is an ingredient you'll sometimes find in sausage products, although its use isn't as widespread as some of the other ingredients on this list. Modified food starch is most commonly used as a thickener and emulsifier in processed foods. In sausages, it may help improve the texture of the meat and help with moisture retention. It comes from a variety of sources, including potato and corn. However, despite its name, it isn't usually genetically modified. There are only a few brands we've seen featuring modified food starch, with Eckrich and Bar S being two of them. To know for sure whether your favorite sausage brands use them, scan the label, but be sure to do so for each variety within the brand that you love.